first started our interest meeting. So, anytime you start a church, one of the best practices, they say always try to have an interest meeting to get the community, to get people involved. So we had our first interest meeting. I'll never forget. It was at Chesapeake Arts Center in Brooklyn Park, Maryland. I'm just telling you, the reason why we chose Brooklyn Park, Maryland is because I remember a long time ago, before we even started a church, I would do a little outreach up there, and I would be praying for people on the street just out of nowhere. I mean, and a lady used to say, "Hey, there's a school that there used to be a church, and there's no church there." And I just remember, man, could you imagine being able to be in this location, to be able to help this location out? But that's why we got to Brooklyn Park. Somehow God made it work where when we were trying to start the church, Brooklyn Park was open. This school was open for us to come in.
Yeah.
But when we had our first interest meeting, I'll never forget, it was at Chesapeake Arts Center. And I was like, okay, well, I hope people come. And we had 2 people come.
We had 50 sign up.
We got 50 sign
50
up.
sign up. We bought all these donuts. We got coffee, drinks, refreshments. We're like, yeah, we're about to max out in space. There's gonna be so many people.
Yeah, 2 people.
2 people.
And that was Pastor Thomas.
And
Tiffany.
and Tiffany. And the only reason Tiffany is, she's still with us in heart, but she actually moved to North Carolina, and that's the only reason she's not with us. But I'm so proud to say that the 2 people that we started with, we
Are still with
with. Yeah,
And
yeah.
we kept having interest meetings. Like, we never stopped. So we went from having 2 people, then we had 4 people, then we had 5 people, then we had 6 people, and the interest meetings would just grow.
Yeah.
That also just shows you consistency in doing the things of Christ. You got to be consistent, and we stayed consistent. And so that's how we first started.
The joys that came out of the interest meetings were just connecting with people. I am a people person. I love people. So the minute they walk through the door, I immediately want to know about their life, their name, where, children, spouse. And so when people would walk through the door, the initial sense was sometimes some people would walk in heavy, and we would tell them a little bit about who we are. We had a whole spiel, when we had our launch meetings. And afterwards, people would stick around. We'd give them a t-shirt, and then we would go connect with them, talk to them. And what we always ended up doing was, I remember pretty much every interest meeting, it would be a couple of people who were in desperate need of prayer. And we would just spend a little bit of time with those people, and by the end of this, it was like a mini service, because we would just sit down, we would talk to people, we would pray with people, and there was just this pull, like there was desperately a need for God in this community. So,
And I remember when we were doing our interest meetings, I was kind of like, the more you saw the pull, I always remember when I was praying, the Lord always was like, listen, you gotta start in the fall, but don't go past November of last year, which makes sense, right? No comment to that, but don't go past November. And I remember, like you were saying, it was like, so the need was so heavy. I was like, we got to start a service. We've got to do something. So we did like mini kickoffs, like on September.
yeah, we started
And
had like a service every 2 weeks starting in September, because we originally weren't going to start until like December or
No, it's
January.
gonna be it's gonna be November.
Oh, November.
Right. He
Yeah.
didn't gonna wait.
Yeah.
But we went ahead and we kicked off, and God,
Just
it was needed, and God was sending people, and we just started seeing people walk in the door, and we were like, we already had the systems and structures in place. Now it was just God moving in and really bringing in the harvest.